It's absurd how much I love Journey Spice. Journey Spice, non-GMO, no salt, no sugar, just all sorts of goodness and smart, environmentally friendly packaging. Pinch the top, take it off. Food tastes better. Comes in singles, 2-packs, and 4-packs. It's Journey Spice. Find them at Amazon.com. Time for Denver's best sports talk with the Altitude Daily.
This is the Altitude Daily Podcast. Everything you can't miss from today on Altitude Sports Radio. Mosher, Lombardi, and Kane.
This from Chris Haynes. Denver Nuggets are not renewing the contracts of Ryan Saunders, Popeye Jones, Charles Klask, and Stephen Graham. So all of those assistants that were on Michael Malone's staff, now that David Adelman has taken over, he has let those guys go. That is the breaking news from Chris Haynes this morning.
Well, I knew there would be changes made. This is a tricky one. Can I go through each of these?
Please.
It's a tricky one. And I'm sure it was not easy for David Adelman to pull this off, but as he said at his press conference, his introductory press conference the other day, not in this business to make best friends. You're in this business to win. If you're in this business to friends, you're going to lose. So the Ryan Saunders one, I'm sure, was not an easy one for this reason. His first job as an assistant coach in the NBA was in Minnesota. The head coach of that team was Flip Saunders, Ryan's dad.
Yeah.
So his dad gave him his first break in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got to let his dad's son go. They're both sons of coaches.
Yep.
That's not an easy one.
Oh, you're saying Adelman's dad was the coach that brought...
No.
Oh, wait.
Saunders' dad.
Oh,
the
Saunders.
Late, great Flip Saunders.
Adelman. I see.
Was the coach of the Minnesota
Yes.
Timberwolves who hired David Adelman as an assistant.
Yes.
So he gave him a break. So that was not easy. And
Was he in charge of the defense? Was that sort of his role,
yes,
Saunders?
Ryan Saunders was the defensive coordinator for the Denver Nuggets. And I think you could see that one coming because Adelman took a bigger hand in defensive alignments and ran a lot more zone. And that was not a surprise to me. Charles Klask, love Charles. Great dude. He was in charge of a lot of the Nuggets replay stuff. Every time they reviewed a play, he was sitting back there looking at very even-keeled dude. A Malone guy. Malone brought him in, obviously. Popeye Jones, longtime NBA player and assistant, good dude, father of Seth and what's the other kid's name? Seth and
why am I blanking on this too?
Defenseman.
Yes.
Seth Jones is one. Caleb
Jones.
Caleb.
Jesus God.
God, I've got to come to hockey. Vic
Sorry,
comes through again.
I at least
Hockey
gave you.
Vic
I at
does
least
it
gave
again.
you a cuh. I knew it was a cuh.
Sorry. Jesus.
Hang on a sec. I was looking at the Nuggets directory.
Oh, don't you dare! Don't you dare make excuses.
And Stephen Graham.
Say hand up, my bad.
Stephen Graham is the other one who was let go again. These are all coaches who have been on the staff for a few years now. Each of them have served critical roles. The Nuggets, when they won their championship, they were all in the room, good people. But change was coming. Change was destined to come. They hold on to a few of those assistants who remain behind. So a few assistants are still part of the team.
The Altitude Daily. The Morning Sprint.
Whereas I do think that Cortland and Devon Vele are probably going to be the two mainstays at that position with those other three guys rotating in primarily.
Yeah, you bring up that Devon Vele looked fantastic, even put on a little bit of weight. You see people seeing him yesterday at OTA couldn't stop talking about what he looks like stature-wise. A player that's of interest when you bring up competing for touches. And Sean Payton was actually specifically talking about Marvin Mims Jr. Marvin Mims Jr. is a player in his third year where you did invest draft capital to go out and get a player with speed. Should the Broncos be using Marvin Mims as somebody that's got to earn his touches, or should they be going out and creating touches for a guy that is a bit different and has a different skill set than the majority of your receiving core with real legitimate tangible speed?
Yeah, no, I think they should create more opportunities for him. I mean, we've been kind of pounding the table for the last couple of years, even when Marvin's rookie year, early on, he was having an impact. We were seeing him in the passing game. He has a massive catch against the Chicago Bears that sets up Will Lutz's game-winning field goal in their comeback that they had. And then we don't see him in the offense, where it's like, is Russell Wilson just not throwing him the football? We saw in week 2 against the Commanders, he had 2 catches for 113 yards and then didn't have a single target in the second half after that. That was wild to me. This is a guy that I think the Broncos need to try to create touches for, create opportunities with because of his speed. Now, I think this is where, Coach, the addition of Evan Ingram comes into play, right? When you have a tight end who can attack that middle of the field where you can just, hey, you need 6 yards, he can run a crosser, right? And the defense is going to cheat up a little bit to protect the sticks. That's where Marvin can get behind defenses, can maybe get a safety to kind of bite on something. You need that dynamic, and we saw it down the second half stretch last year. So much of that I think is on the coaches more so than is Marvin, because Marvin's out there. There's times where Marvin's been open, but nobody's hit him. Russell Wilson didn't hit him, or Bo went to his first read because his first read was open. That's what you want to do. You want your quarterback to make the right play. But we saw what Marvin can do downfield, and I think there's definitely got to be an element to that. He's obviously still going to be the punt returner for this team because he can produce at an elite level at that position, flip field position for you. It's just about trying to figure out what are those touches going to look like. He didn't have as many snaps as other guys. I think he was like 4th overall snaps at wide receiver compared to guys like Troy Franklin, Lil Jordan Humphrey, and even Devon Vele had more overall snaps last season than he did. So I think it's about trying to find a way to get him on the field more.
The Altitude Daily. Columbus, Hastings, and DMAC.
Today it was announced by the Nuggets they have let go of Ryan Saunders, Popeye Jones, Charles Klask, and Stephen Graham. Welcome to the show. Appreciate you listening, and perhaps we start with you, Scott. Can you tell us what these guys were involved with and perhaps why they are no longer with the organization?
Well, one, I'll say this. You've got to, when you hire a head coach, and I've seen it happen in reverse, and it never comes out good. Like I had a buddy got a first-time head coaching job, and you know what? When you get offered a head coaching job, you got to take it. There's only 30, right?
Yep.
But then the GM said, I'm picking all your assistants. And so now you automatically build in well, what can I really say? Because you know this. There's coaches are always going to get mad at GMs and the front office. Front office is always going to get mad at the coaches, but you don't all of a sudden you get upset and somebody like, hey, by the way, head coach been talking about you the other day.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have some sort of trust factor. I've always said that every head coach needs at least one guy that's his barstool buddy that he can just bitch and moan and cry about everything too, that it ain't going no farther than those bar stools.
Oh, sorry about that. Well, to me, it makes a whole lot of sense, and it has nothing to do with the individuals. But look, man, you already were running the risk of feeling like you're running it back by hiring David Adelman. Like why'd you get rid of Michael Malone just to hire his protege? And if you're going to retain the majority of the coaching staff, then you're really like, well, why did we get rid of Michael Malone? So I fully expected there to be quite a bit of turnover. You obviously know the personalities a whole lot better than I do, Scott. But I think they didn't have a choice. If they're trying to reset, well, you got to reset. And if you're going to reset, you got to get rid of some bodies.
And I mean, they did it from a guy sitting right next to you to.
Well, maybe you can take us through each guy's job and responsibilities.
Well, Flip Saunders' job initially, when they went offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, was in charge of the defense.
All right, and Adelman's made some significant remarks about the defense.
And how they needed to change.
So was that them not seeing eye to eye on things?
Well, I don't know if it's him not seeing eye to eye, but he wants changes, and he knows which way he wants to go, and you know, maybe that is what it is. Now, the irony part of it, his father, Ryan's father, was the GM in Minnesota and fired David's dad when David's dad was the head coach of Minnesota.
Ouch.
So
that's a circle.
There's a full circle come day.
Damn.
I don't know. I just think you want the guy that's sitting next to you, in my opinion, your guy. Like I said, the guy that's your barstool buddy that you can sit there during a tough stretch in February and you're upset at 18 people.
Is that going to be a new guy?
Yeah, I think it'll be a new guy.
The Altitude Daily. Kretman and Lindahl.
Gosh, there's like so many ways people want to go and they keep texting in. So why don't we do this? Why don't we just kind of we're going to do a recap segment, if you will. Let's start again with the Avs because a lot of people have weighed in on the Avs. We had a gentleman text earlier that said for him, Mackenzie Blackwood is untouchable. How about we do this? Let's do the Avs and the Nuggets untouchable lists right now since we're in the middle of roster reconstruction season. It's going to get going here in full swing. And then I've got a couple free agents that are getting thrown out there, some of the ones we've already mentioned. But when it comes to the Avs players on the roster that you're – because, again, look, guys, I'll just say this. And Mark, I think we're in agreement here. I believe free agency is great, but the NHL cap is so hard. You've got to probably – trade somebody. Now, I know it went up. What did it go up? 7-8 million? So
yeah, it went up.
But again, that might be Brock Nelson by himself. I don't know. I don't know if you were to do the 7 million.
I don't know how much.
Probably going to have to make some trades to really free up if you want to do something significant.
Yeah. How many of your guys are you going to resign? How many are you going to let walk? And then who are you going to pick up? When it comes to untradables for the Colorado Avalanche, it is Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar and Gabe Landeskog. And all right, I'll go McKenzie too. Yeah, McKenzie too.
So Landy's still an untouchable for you.
Because just like I love to take shots at Jamie Benn, and he is a free, but Dallas has to, that's your captain, man. You know what I mean? That's your captain.
What is he? He's been a fantastic captain.
So you can't, Landy's an Av for life. McKinnon is an Av for life. Makar is an Av for life, no matter what happens. Outside of that, do what you want. Get crazy. I guess Marty Natchez, for me, Marty's probably spring. What do you think? You got to keep Marty, man, right? You can't.
He's under contract for 1 more.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. We're talking about trading to anybody.
He's affordable.
Trade anybody.
Trade him. Don't get me wrong, but would you not listen to offers and at least see what was out there?
I don't know. I might put Marty on the.
Well, listen, if all of a sudden everyone's going to get all upset about Brock Nelson not scoring during the playoffs, they're not going to get on Marty a little bit?
No,
the Marty party never happened. No, I'm not saying get rid of him. I'm not, but.
Yeah, that's it, though. That's it.
You've been listening to the Altitude Daily. Catch us live weekdays on 92.5 FM, the Altitude Sports Radio app, twitch.tv/AltitudeSR, youtube.com @Altitude Sports Radio, and your favorite smart speaker. Say Altitude Sports Radio.